The WBO has officially ordered Oleksandr Usyk to defend his heavyweight title against Joseph Parker. This means Usyk now has 30 days to finalize terms with Parker, potentially putting a hold on his anticipated rematch with Daniel Dubois.
A mandatory world title fight between champion Oleksandr Usyk and former world champion Joseph Parker. Parker beat Martin Bakole last month to become interim WBO champion after Daniel Dubois pulled out of their world title fight due to illness.
Yeah, that's right. There was a lot of talk that Usyk was going to fight against Daniel Dubois, wasn't there? But it looks like he's going to have to fight Parker. They've got 30 days now to reach an agreement for this ordered mandatory defence. Otherwise, the WBO will order purse bid proceedings. Now, yesterday, as we said, Usyk and Dubois, we told you, were in talks over that, what would have been an undisputed world title fight. And Wembley was being discussed as a potential venue, but we will see if and when and where Usyk-Parker takes place. I think get it sorted.
Additionally, Adam Cattall praised the announcement of Oleksandr Usyk versus Joseph Parker, calling it a much-needed matchup for the heavyweight division. He also took aim at the WBO, criticizing the organization for sanctioning multiple interim title bouts despite Usyk being an active champion. In Cattall's view, this latest mandate has finally pushed the division forward, ensuring that the fight takes place.
Joseph Parker versus Oleksandr Usyk. Absolutely. This was always the fight to make it heavyweight if we truly are living in a time of meritocracy. I'll be honest, I was fearful that the usual politics and BS would get in the way and push us in a different direction. The WBO, for example, have had the interim heavyweight belt contested for 5 times whilst we've had an active champion in the shape of Oleksandr Usyk. It seems that TKO announcement last week has got boxing to pull its finger out. This was always the fight to make because Joseph Parker has earned his shot at the...
Cattall also proposed scheduling additional key matchups, such as Ajit Cabale versus Daniel Dubois, on the same fight card, setting up a clear path for the winners to face off next. He argued that the sport would be far more straightforward and thrilling if unnecessary politics were taken out of the equation.
Ajit Cabale versus Daniel Dubois. Stick them both on the same card and have the winners fight each other. It's pretty easy this game when you get rid of the BS.
Gareth A. Davies analyzed the challenges stemming from the WBO's ruling on Oleksandr Usyk and Daniel Dubois. He highlighted that WBO President Gustavo Olivieri stated Usyk would have to relinquish his WBO title if he pursued an undisputed bout against Dubois. This development follows Usyk's IBF title being stripped after his win over Tyson Fury, further complicating the chances of a fully unified heavyweight championship.
I mean, there's a spanner in the works here, isn't there? Kind of a depth charge that's been laid out by the WBO. It's boxing politics again. Gustavo Olivieri, the new president of the World Boxing Organization, is saying that basically Usyk's not allowed to keep the belt and fight for the undisputed title with Daniel Dubois. Obviously, Dubois holds the IBF title that was stripped from Usyk, going to the complications of this, stripped from Usyk after he won all the belts against Tyson Fury.
Davies criticized the situation as yet another example of boxing politics at play, describing the WBO's ruling as a major obstacle that could disrupt plans for an undisputed heavyweight title fight between Usyk and Dubois. He emphasized that this decision would prevent Usyk from holding all the belts in a potential unification bout, further underscoring the persistent political complications within the sport.
You're not going to have the WBO belt for this undisputed title fight that they're putting Usyk and Daniel Dubois together. It is boxing politics at its worst. It's a depth charge that the WBO have dropped, and it will scupper Usyk and Dubois being undisputed.
Carl Froch weighed in on the Joseph Parker versus Oleksandr Usyk fight, calling it a solid matchup. He acknowledged Parker's recent knockout victory over Martin Bakole, but noted that Bakole appeared fatigued after traveling from Congo, which somewhat lessened the impact of the win. Nevertheless, Froch felt Parker had earned his shot at Usyk, particularly after the collapse of the anticipated fight with Daniel Dubois.
Listen, Usyk-Parker fight, I think is a good fight. Parker's on a bit of a roll. He's just beaten Martin Bakole. That was a great knockout. I know Bakole was flying in late from the Congo and he was tired, but that shot on the top of his head sent his equilibrium, and he got stretchered, and he got ironed out. It was all over the place. The fight had to be stopped. So, although it was a good win for Parker, he's not going to get great credit for it. But do I want to see Parker in the ring with Usyk rather than Dubois against Usyk?
However, Frock pointed out that a showdown between Usyk and Dubois would carry greater significance, as it could serve as a unification bout for the heavyweight titles. While he acknowledged that Parker had earned his opportunity, Frock believed Parker faced an uphill battle against Usyk, citing the Ukrainian's remarkable achievements, including victories over Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury. He stressed that although Parker was a worthy challenger, Usyk remained the clear favorite in the matchup.
If Dubois still got the IBF, which he has, if Dubois got the IBF title, that becomes a unification fight. But if Usyk's going to lose the WBO, if you don't defend against Parker, it takes away the unification edge. So I think the fight I'd rather see would be Dubois-Usyk, but Parker deserves his shot. It was Dubois that pulled out the Parker fight, and Parker's had a good win against Bakole. So I feel that Parker deserves his shot. I don't give Parker much of a chance to beat Usyk. Look at what Usyk's done. Usyk's done AJ twice, and he's beat Fury twice. So you can't really say that Joseph Parker has got a great deal of a chance against somebody.
Frank Warren addressed the ongoing situation regarding Oleksandr Usyk's next fight, emphasizing the WBO's preference for a single, undisputed champion rather than multiple interim title holders. He explained that Usyk, currently holding 3 heavyweight belts, is now required to face his mandatory challengers, all of whom are associated with Queensberry Promotions. The only potential exception to this lineup, Warren noted, would be if Usyk and Daniel Dubois were to meet in a unification bout, which could take precedence over other mandatory obligations.
A lot of things. I mean, under first of all, the WBO do not like having interim champions. They always make sure that their interim fights the champion because they only want one champion. That's how they want it. It's the WBO's turn for the next fight with Alexandrov for the 3 belts that he holds. In fact, all our guys are in position to fight him. All Queensberry fighters that are there for his mandatories. The only exemption would be if there was a unification fight against Daniel, and if that happens...
Warren underscored Joseph Parker's advantageous position, regardless of how the situation unfolds. He highlighted Parker's dedication and performances in the ring, which have earned him either a direct shot at Usyk or a chance to face the winner of a potential unification bout. Warren emphasized that, no matter the final decision, Parker has positioned himself for a major fight on the heavyweight stage.
Parker's in a win-win position with all the hard work and what he's done in the ring to get himself into, where he's either going to fight Usyk or he's going to fight the winner of a unification fight. But whatever happens, he's got his shot.
Thurman wasted no time pressing the advantage, sensing that Jarvis was on the brink. After the first knockdown, he maintained relentless pressure, setting up a devastating left hook that sealed the fight in the 3rd round. With this emphatic victory, Thurman now has his sights set on Tim Tszyu, eager to secure another title opportunity.
Bing, bop, boom, bop, bam. The type of he wouldn't understand. And at the end of the day, man, to do what I do and to live this life, man, it's been a 29-year road, and I know a lot of people just wonder what Keith Thurman has, but Keith Thurman has the heart and the will of a champion today, tomorrow, and forevermore. But in the 3rd round, I actually came around on the left side, boom, got behind the elbow, and he gave me a wince. He gave me that wince, and I said, you didn't like that, Brocky. And so I stepped forward, he stepped back, I saw the mouth breathing, and these are just little signs that world champions need to know that he's not in a good place right now.
Thurman recounted his strategy of applying relentless pressure, staying on the offensive without giving Jarvis any room to regain his footing. He credited his experience and unwavering determination as key factors in sealing the victory. Recognizing the moment when the referee offered Jarvis one last opportunity, Thurman remained composed, fully aware that the end was inevitable. His confidence never wavered, and with one final push, he ensured the fight concluded decisively in his favor.
To press, and he's not strong on his back foot. He slowly started to crumble, and as I continued to put that pressure on him, I got a beautiful left uppercut inside, dropped him. He was able to get up. I mean, he was wobbly. I wasn't sure if the ref was going to stop it there or not. He gave him one more opening chance, but there was way too much pressure, way too much time left on the clock. I put the full press on him, foot on the gas, and now we're out here talking to you. Fight's over.
Keith Thurman's manager commended his performance, emphasizing that his vast experience allows him to stay sharp, much like second nature. He pointed out that Thurman's resilience, determination, and mental fortitude set him apart from the competition. Despite facing obstacles, Thurman proved he remains a top-tier fighter, and his manager is confident that he will only get better, continuing to refine his skills and deliver even stronger performances in the future.
I just said to one of the other interviews that I guess when you have so much experience, it's hard. It's like riding a bike, I guess. The skill set never goes away. It's the ticker and the ability to perform. And he showed tonight that his level's above. And he'll bring that to the ring going forward now better and better.
Thurman's manager also weighed in on a potential showdown between Thurman and Tim Tszyu, describing it as a clash of high-level skill and strategy. He emphasized that this matchup would be unlike Thurman's previous fights, with both fighters bringing unique strengths to the ring. He noted that Tszyu's current mindset has sharpened, making him more focused and tactical, while Thurman's relentless determination adds another layer of intrigue. With both fighters at their peak, the matchup promises to be an electrifying contest that fans won't want to miss.
Tim and Keith will be two very, very high-level skill fighters going at it, and it'll be a totally different fight. And the interesting part for me is in Tim's current mental state, where he now knows and has learnt, and he's focused and bearing down on everything that he needs to do. I think it'll be an absolute cracker of a fight. I really do.
Peter Battle reacted to Keith Thurman's knockout victory, describing it as both precise and ruthless. He had anticipated Thurman would stop Brock Jarvis within 3 to 4 rounds, and the fight unfolded exactly as predicted. While he acknowledged Jarvis's courage and potential, Battle pointed out the evident gap in skill level, with Thurman operating on an entirely different tier. He also emphasized that this dominant performance served as an ideal way for Thurman to shake off any ring rust after his hiatus, making a strong statement that he is back in elite form.
It was exquisite. It was savage. It was the Keith Thurman I thought we would see. And I said before the fight, I thought he'd stop Brock within 3 to 4 rounds. And that's how it played out. Now, this is no denigration of Brock. I think Brock's a very brave man to take that fight, and he's got some ability. He's a good domestic fighter, but in this sport, it's all about levels. And to me, that was 3 or 4 levels away for Brock. So I thought outstanding performance from Keith, and he only gets better from here because that's a ring rust breaker, 3-year hiatus, and now he's back in.
Filip Hrgovic steps in to replace Dillian Whyte in a showdown against Joe Joyce after Whyte's injury forced him to withdraw. The Croatian heavyweight's inclusion adds fresh intrigue to what is now a highly anticipated clash. Frank Warren weighed in on the fight, calling it a high-stakes battle that could determine the trajectory of both fighters' careers. He likened it to Joyce's originally planned bout with Whyte, where the winner takes a significant step forward while the loser faces a tough road ahead. Warren acknowledged the risks Joyce takes in every fight but stressed that if he wants to regain momentum, he must secure a victory against a strong, credible opponent. He also commended Joyce for consistently taking on dangerous challenges, reinforcing his reputation as a fearless competitor.
It's a tough fight for both of them. I mean, you know, it's exactly the same as the fight that he had before Joe against Dillian. You know, the winner goes on, the loser is going to have to think about what he does.
Mm-hmm. For Joe, especially at this point in his career, could it be underseen as a risky fight? Because it really, of
course, it's a risky fight. Every fight he has is a risky fight, you know. But if he wants to get back into it, he's got to come back with a win against a real good, credible opponent. And Joe's never ducked a challenge. Look at his record.
Eddie Hearn recently shared new insights into the TKO Boxing League, making it clear that he isn't particularly concerned about the promotion. Speaking openly, Hearn revealed a light-hearted conversation with Ter Alec, where they both laughed about his indifference toward the league. He emphasized that he remains completely relaxed about the situation, showing no signs of being fazed by the developments.
And this is just speaking just from the heart. I couldn't give a shit. And, you know, I had a conversation with His Excellency the other day, and we were laughing about the fact that I couldn't care less. Like, I'm so chilled.
Eddie Hearn voiced strong confidence in the future of the TKO League, stating that a collaboration with Dana White would be an exciting opportunity. He highlighted his willingness to work with other promoters and embrace new challenges, reinforcing his belief that his team is always prepared to adapt. Regardless of the direction the league takes, Hearn remains certain that his team is the best at what they do and ready for any competition.
If we work with Dana and TKO, great. If Dana wants to take on other promoters and wants a fight, great. I'm up for that. It's all great. Because it's just life. It's just every day. It's a new challenge. And whatever way we go, we're ready. We're the best at what we do. And we're up for the challenge.
Eddie Hearn expressed his interest in a long-term collaboration with Turki Alashik, acknowledging Alashik's understanding of the quality and expertise his team brings. Hearn emphasized that the partnership ultimately depends on Alashik's vision and strategic goals for the sport. He recognized Alashik's strong drive and determination, stating that if their collaboration doesn't align at this moment, it's not personal and could still happen in the future.
I would like to work with His Excellency for a long time. I believe he knows the quality that we bring. I believe he knows how we operate our business. But it all comes down to what he wants at the time to make sure he can hit his vision, his targets, his strategy. He's very, very driven and determined about what he wants and the vision that he has for the sport. And if you've got something that can help that, come on. And if you haven't, maybe later. That's it. Don't take it too personal.
Frank Warren stated that he isn't overly concerned about the new boxing league, noting that he briefly discussed it on Box Nation. While he acknowledged that he doesn't yet know all the details regarding the league's format, he prefers to wait and see how things develop. Warren emphasized that his main focus remains on his ongoing work in boxing and that, for now, he isn't worried about the league's impact.
World champion, I don't know what his ambitions are. That's motivating him now. It seems like it's money, and even though we all need money and want money and all the rest of it, it's not actually a great motivator in boxing.
Matt Macklin shared his perspective on the potential impact of Turki Alashik's new TKO league on boxing, recognizing Alashik as a major figure in combat sports. He acknowledged the UFC's dominance, attributing its success to a strong brand and near monopoly over the sport. However, Macklin noted that boxing operates differently, with multiple promoters and broadcasters involved, making it far more fragmented and challenging for any single entity to take full control.
Really, it's interesting, isn't it? He's obviously a big player in combat sports, but you know, the UFC, I don't know the whole history of it, but you know, as far as I can remember, it was like a brand, and he come in and he was in it from the start, and they kind of had a monopoly, where boxing's so fragmented between different promoters, different television networkers, broadcasters, like to just come in and take it over.
Macklin also stressed the significance of having the right people in the industry, pointing out that while Alashik has the financial power to make an impact, success will depend on assembling a strong team. He referenced influential promoters like Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren, who have built extensive networks and fighter stables over the years. Macklin acknowledged that the launch of the TKO League has certainly caught the attention of the boxing world, and it will be intriguing to see how figures like Dana White and other stakeholders approach and potentially refine the sports business model.
You can't just buy it, and money's one thing, and you need money, a lot of it, which seems to be that's no object with His Excellency Turki Alashik. But in terms of, you still need people. Yeah, Dana White is certainly one of those right people, but you know, there's Eddie Hearn, Frank Warren, you know, there's Golden Boy, there's Top Rank, there's Al Heyman. You know, these people have got big stables, they'll have fighters under contract. So I don't know. It's certainly, I'm sure it's certainly raised a few eyebrows within the industry. I guess it's watch the space, you know. But Dana White, obviously a big player in combat sports, very capable guy. So it'd be interesting to see what his thoughts are on the business of boxing and how he thinks it could be improved.
Robert Garcia shared his thoughts on the new boxing league, acknowledging Turki Alashik's efforts to elevate the sport by creating major events and lucrative opportunities for fighters. He emphasized that many boxers, including those under his training, are reaping significant financial rewards, often exceeding their expectations. While Garcia supports fighters participating in these high-profile events, he also maintains strong ties with the WBC, having coached multiple champions under its banner. This unique position leaves him balancing both sides of the evolving boxing landscape without fully committing to one camp.
I didn't see that, but I've heard a lot of people talking about it. I'm not very familiar with what really happened. Look, Turkeys came to boxing to change a lot of fighters' lives, doing a lot of big events, putting the biggest fights out there, the biggest cards out there. So we got to be, I'm a trainer. I have fighters fighting on those cards. But I also have WBC champions also with Bam Rodriguez, with Virgil. Mikey was a WBC champion. I have 4 WBC trainer belts, so I got to support that too. So it's hard to take sides, but I think both have a point too. The WBC has to obviously defend themselves and do their thing, but Turkey's also doing his thing. He's changing a lot of lives, man. A lot of kids are making more money than they've been.
Garcia recognized the legitimacy of both the WBC and Turki Alashika's approach, acknowledging that the WBC must uphold its authority in the sport while Alashik is offering fighters unprecedented opportunities for exposure and financial gain. He pointed out that, despite some tension between the two sides, both have valid arguments. Garcia made it clear that he remains neutral, respecting the WBC's legacy, while also appreciating the platform and opportunities Alashik is providing for fighters like Virgil and many others.
So we have to be with that too, So I don't want to take sides, but I do know that I'm with both. The WBC loves us. We love the WBC. I have 2 WBC champions. I have 4 WBC belts that they've given me. So how can I turn my back on them? Yeah. But I can also turn my back on Turkey when he's putting Virgil on those big cards and getting paid money that maybe never expected.
Canelo Alvarez weighed in on Turki Alashika's new boxing league, expressing support for the idea of a single world champion per weight division. As the current holder of all 4 major titles, he voiced confidence that, even under a unified system, he would still be recognized as the top fighter in his division. Canelo emphasized that he remains unfazed by any potential changes in the boxing landscape, stating that he's ready to adapt and continue proving himself at the highest level.
Canelo, I'm sure you heard the big news yesterday. Turki Al-Ashik is creating a new boxing league. He promises that there will only be 1 world champion in each division. Right now, he's also considered a world champion. As someone who has the WBO, WBC, and WBA titles, how do you feel about that?
I feel good because at the moment I have the 4 belts. It's like if there is just 1 belt, it's mine too. So I can adapt myself in any way. So I don't mind.
What are your thoughts on this new development in boxing? Do you think a unified champion per division is the way forward, or will it create new challenges in the sport? We'd love to hear your opinions. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this update, don't forget to like and subscribe for more boxing news and analysis.